It's Friday, and this is More Than Just Task Management, your favorite daily podcast where we help you build a thriving business. I'm Angelova, business coach and consultant, and the co host of this awesome podcast. And as usual, I have my favorite co host with me, Jores Minasvand. Hey, Jores.
Hey Anna, happy Friday. Another beautiful Friday in August. All right, so what is our topic of the day? Oh boy, don't say AI.
Uh, Artificial intelligence.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so what we're discussing today is how to use AI without replacing the human touch. And I know we have talked about this before. I would say there are two components ultimately, and today I'm going with directly to the topic. There are two things. One thing is something we mentioned before. If you don't want to use the human touch, have a person actually review, especially when it comes to using, because when we talk about AI, a lot of the things, a lot of the use cases are related to those LLMs. So ultimately, have a person actually review the outcome, like whether it's copy for your website, whether it's email sequences, whatever it is, have a human actually take a look at this and update it, make sure that it is human, that it sounds human. So this is one thing, like having the human part, like the person involved. And before we've mentioned that idea that ultimately the way it should work is 20-60-20, where like 20% of the work is done by a person, 60% in the middle is done by the two, and then 20% is the person again updating things and making things better. So this is one part. And then the other part that I completely agree with, and we've mentioned this before as well, do not use this kind of automations where it really matters, where when you need human touch, have human touch. This is one of the things that be different. Dare to zig when others are zagging, and be different. Everyone is generating content with mm, AI, and everyone is writing emails with AI. Be the one who writes the emails, like personally from you, without using any of these tools, without even asking ChatGPT or whatever it is to go and update it and refine it. Be yourself. And this is one of the things that, again, I've heard it from Darren Hardy, and other people might have mentioned this as well, the recommendation to automate the mundane so we can really focus on the exceptional, we can focus on the human. So ultimately, one way to use AI without replacing the human touch is to use the power of all these models where you don't interact with people, like in the places where you don't interact with people, where you don't need the human touch. So this is where I'm starting. And Joris, you had a great, um, like you said something amazing in the beginning before we started recording. So I want to hear your thoughts.
So what's the title of the session today, the podcast today? How to
How can I use AI without replacing the human touch?
don't use it. And again, what I think it's more like mine is more generic. What you said is very valid. Use it for automate the mundane, but then the parts that are creative, architecture, design, where it requires human thinking, don't use it for those. I have a use case right now. One of my customers has a very big global workforce for help desk, and it's not the size of the uh, team that matters. That's something they want to reduce, but the other problem is that the people that are in that team are useless. They have rendered themselves useless, whatever, but whether it's following the procedure or saying, no, this is not my problem, or this is my wall, whatever the company culture, whatever the reason, Those are the people who will be replaced by a chatbot. The chatbot can more intelligently and more efficiently. And these people sit on a ticket for a week until it gets escalated to a CEO level or a president level, and they say, "Oh yeah, we know this problem. This network has a problem now. Oh, okay." So that's the type of person that will be replaced, that should be replaced. Those are the efficiencies that where AI will come in, and still it's not AI. We're not using AI. We're using Power Up, Power Automate, uh, dictated logic, where we actually, it's configurable, but it's still dictated logic that the chatbot follows, engine follows to be more efficient. That, yes. But there's no way that you can replace an architect who thinks, who talks to the business, who looks at the business owner in the face and sits across the boardroom and says, "What is your problem?" There's no way chatbot can and will solve that. It's impossible. So it's the type of, use it for what it's for. It's like if you use a hammer to put a nail in the wall, it will work. If you use a hammer to crush a peanut, you'll destroy it. So use it what it's meant for. And all this, don't give into this hype that, oh, AI, oh, you remember the guy we were talking in Michigan? In 5 years, AI will take over the whole thing. And I pointed around the plaza with all the businesses like the nail salon and the hair salon and the paint shop, and like, how is AI is going to replace everything? What are you guys hallucinating? A whole bunch of people also purchased these OpenAI, Nvidia, whatever the stocks, and they're hoping that they can retire on this stock if they spread the word and the hype and the fear and say, "Oh yeah, AI will take over all of us." Like any other hype, how many times have we heard in the past 17 to 20 years that Outlook is dead, email is dead? Still in 2025, email is the most used tool. The last death of the email was supposed to be Teams and Zoom and those. Still nothing. Still email cannot replace. So technologies have their own place and use. AI will, after all this hype is dead in about a year or so, AI will find its place where it's useful. And that is where, like you touched, find something that you spend too much time and money on and it's mundane, and automate it. For the foreseeable future, until we get off of the Intel chipset, AI usage is only automation, automatic ticket routing, automatic answering. Yes, it has efficiency over humans, but it costs anywhere from 200,000 to $2 million to implement.
Yeah, and and the way when you think about some of the things, like you said, with automation, like before we had automation before that, like before AI. Now it's just that instead of having a canned automated message to everyone who submits a ticket, let's say, or everyone who sends a request to find about you, like you can actually, with the power of those LLMs, you can actually have an automated message that goes immediately and says, "We've received, thank you for the inquiry." Instead of having it a kind of "Thank you for the inquiry, we've received your message, we'll get back to you in a couple of hours." You can actually respond in a more personalized way, where like you actually, like the LLM, the tool, it actually reads the email and responds a little bit more in a personalized way. Like, "We appreciate your time and understand whatever, like based on the context of the email, can generate something more personalized." So, like you're absolutely right. I think automation existed before, and like one of the things when you were saying like that example you had with mm, like chatbots, it I understand the efficiency of chatbots, but at the same time, I also know how frustrating it is to not be able to get in touch with a human being, because these things, like you said, they're pre-programmed, and no matter what you try to do, no matter it's like I'm not dumb. I've looked out online, I've searched, I couldn't find the information. I know about your website, I know what's there. I need to talk with a human being. I need to talk with a person who can go behind the scenes and fix this for me. And it can be really frustrating. And this is where actually, when you are saying about like the problem with those people who made themselves obsolete, again, we get into the fallacy of fixing a problem that's either people or process problem with technology. Like instead of looking at, do we have the right people? Do we have the right processes, as you said? And technology can be really empowering, like even AI. Like imagine when you have the right culture and the right people, and with the process, like you said, sometimes the process actually doesn't allow them. Like there are procedures and things where they really like their hands are tied. But imagine people with the right attitude, with the right culture, who are supporting and who are enabled by an automation, like an AI automation, who can solve your problem like this, and in a way that they greet you nicely. They're like, oh yeah, like, let me quickly check, and does it in a way that it brightens your day even when a problem arises. So it's really thinking about, I love what you said, like the use cases, and not using the hammer to break a nut or whatever you mentioned. And the thing is that as you were sharing this, other, like especially when it comes to the LLMs, other use cases are just using it as a little bit of brainstorming buddy or something like this, where like you're just chatting a little bit and getting to thinking about an idea and just bouncing it off of the LLM, just to see what other ideas there might be, what other viewpoints there might be. So these are also ways where, again, you use it more behind the scenes, not where you have the human touch, where the human touch, whether the human touch is with your people, like your team, your employees, with your customers, with your vendors, whoever it is with, like you enable yourself and your team to be present when they need to be present with other people, and do the rest. That's it.
Totally agree. Um, our creativity comes from our individuality. And you mentioned something earlier, which is very amazing. Don't use ChatGPT or OpenAI to whatever to write emails, to write your documents. I'm just thinking maybe 1% of the population, maybe 2% will not do that. Do what you're saying, write your own, be yourself. The other 98% in the next 20 years, using the same engine that uses the same logics, are going to write all the documents, all the emails. Can you imagine the how like I'm just trying to imagine it and it scares me because they all sound the same. They all look the same. You won't even know who you're getting it from. You're getting this from a 12-year-old in high school, or you're getting this from a PhD from Oxford. Like you won't know because it's all going to sound the same. It's all going to be, and I think, in a sense, when they say, "Oh, AI will be the end of humanity," it's not like it's going to replace us and puts us in a can and process us and puts us away, send us to our remains into the space. I think it's going to be where, because human nature, human brain is lazy by nature, by the virtue of using it, we will lose our individuality, we will lose our culture, we will lose everything, and I think our societies will just collapse. Uh, if that creativity, if that value is not there, added value, then why is my customer paying me to do something, to provide a service? My customer can go get OpenAI to do the work for them. So
Well, what you were saying, by the way, it's already visible. Like you said, like when you go online and you look at posts, at social media posts, this is where like with the emojis. Boy, the way it generates emojis. The long dash. Like even when you tell it don't use it, it uses it. Like even when you tell it don't use these things, it still uses it. And then it does have that structure that it really likes using with it's not that, it's not this, it's that. Like and then also it likes using here's the truth, but here is the truth, but here is the hard truth or something like this. Like it has those that language, like you said, it's and you can see it everywhere. Now we are using it, of course, like we are using it and we choose our battles. And for what we are doing, ultimately the way we do things. So these conversations we have, the podcast is what we do, genuinely having conversations between the two of us based on our experience, based on the work we are doing with our clients right now, the work we've done in the past, based on our knowledge and what's going on. Like this is the conversations that we have, raw and real. And then we do repurpose this into uh, social media posts. And what I do for this one, for example, is I alternate between cutting the video from this recording into a reel for social media with a little bit of a description, and between a post that has a picture. The other one is like a picture post with a little bit of a blurb. And so for repurposing, this is where we use ChatGPT, and no affiliations or anything like this. It's just the first one that started and that got famous. And what I do is I ask it to recommend how to cut the video to turn it into a reel, and most of the time it does okay. Like it recommends good portions. Sometimes I actually choose different parts. I'm like, oh, let me, because our videos and our conversations are anywhere from 10-15 minutes to like 20-25 at most, so it's not too hard to pick a few snippets and cut it. And the cutting I'm doing on my own as well. Actually I'm using a tool, and I'm cutting it myself and then attaching it. And then for the text itself that it generates for the social media post, I do update it a little bit. After it generates it, I update it a little bit. I remove most of the emojis. I change a little bit of the language, but this is where we use it because, again, our main focus is on the conversation that we have. And for the rest, we are using it right now. This is how we are using it, repurposing and reusing it. And it's how we chose to do things, how we choose to do things right now. We don't know how it will develop in the future and what ways we want to do this. But ultimately, we want to have a form of content that's ours and have that human touch where like you can hear our voices. You can even see us on those reels. If you're following us on LinkedIn or Instagram and Facebook, like you can see us there. And this is us in a t-shirt and the glasses and everything, headsets. So we all want and crave human connection and human touch. And I know we've already been talking about 20 minutes, and we can talk about AI in general so much. But again, what I want you to get out of this conversation today is really think about it and be careful how you use it. Don't follow what others are doing. Like the hype is already dying off. Although there are people that are still hyping it up, and it's like with Bitcoin. And blockchain, where is it? Uh, did it change the world the way that people were saying? Like, and it's interesting that nowadays, with the way technology develops, nowadays we have these hypes with, oh, this is the next big thing. We have it every other year. It's like blockchain was what, not even 10 years ago. Where is it now? How has it changed the world? So yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin. Yeah, this is what happens when again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I've seen this happen so many times. When the rich sees that the non-rich have too much money in their pockets, this is how they get that money out into their own pockets. They start these hypes. Again, we can talk about this like forever, but let's go back to what we talked about. How to use AI don't use AI.
Well, use it, but first think about it. Like, use your own brain, use your own discernment, and really think about the use cases, how you want to use it, and when you want to use it. We are using it, like we are using it, and we choose where we want to use it and where not. And for these conversations, we're not using anything. The only way we are using it is when we brainstorm ideas for some of the topics. Like, this is like where we used it. We used it for a little bit of research, by the way, and it got some good sources. Like it listed some good sources for some market research we did. So these are amazing ways you can use it behind the scenes again. And then when it comes to the human touch, when it comes to your main form of content, when it comes to communicating with, again, your team, even with your employees, with your customers, with your clients, with your vendors, this is where you show up as a human being, as an empathetic and empowering leader, the leader you are. So, anyway, I think this is more than enough for the Friday. Anything else, Joris?
No, I think we covered enough of this. Basically, it's common sense, right? Any tool you use common sense. So use your common sense. It can be your friend.
Absolutely. And one of the things, I don't know if we've talked a lot about it, but then I do love the opposable mind idea. So try and hold these ideas in your mind. The human touch, keeping the human touch, and using that so-called artificial intelligence thing. So hold this in mind and think about how can you have both? How can you uh, eat the cake and have it too? So this is homework I'm leaving for you. And otherwise, this is it for today. And again, we've mentioned it before. If there is anything where like you're not sure about your business, we will actually add a link to a strategy call we are offering for the next month and a half, 2 months, August and September. Uh, we don't share this link a lot, so if you are stuck or wondering like how to move forward and scale your business and build your business and how to deal with some of these things, the strategy call is a 45-minute call where we talk with you and discuss what's going on with your business, find the bottleneck, and determine what your next step should be. So I'll add the link. You can check it out and schedule a call with us if you need help with anything about your business.
Great session, Anna. Thank you.
Thanks, Joris. See you tomorrow.
See you.